Good evening. We will start our session sharp at 6:30. I request everyone in the meantime, please keep your video off and mute yourself. Thank you.
Happy New Year to everyone, the beautiful ladies, and definitely to the students of our night college. Happy New Year to happy Women's Day, my dears, all of you.
ट्यूबलाइट लावते दर्शन
Aarti, we can start. It is 6:30 sharp.
Okay, sir. Good evening, respected Dr. Naresh Chandra, Director Education, Dr. Avinash Patil, Principal, BK Birla College, Autonomous, Dr. Harish Dubey, IC Principal, BK Birla Night College, our esteemed guest, Mrs. Sheetal Mahajan Rane, Padma Shri and Shiv Chhatrapati Rajiv Krida Puraskar awardee in skydiving, Dr. Madhuri Sharan, MD Monad Nanotech Private Limited and renowned scientist, Lieutenant Commander Seema Rani Sharma, former aviator, Indian Navy, and first woman combatant of Indian Navy, faculty members, students, and the audience across the country. On behalf of BK Birla Knight College, I, Assistant Professor Aarti More, extend a warm welcome to you all in today's national webinar on Dimension of Women Empowerment, organized to celebrate International Women's Day. And I wish you all happy International Women's Day to all the powerful women in our life. It's our holy tradition to worship our goddess Ma Saraswati before any important event. So let's dedicate a prayer to Ma Saraswati. Sarva Mangala Mangalya, Shive Sarvartha Sadhike, Sharanya Trambake Gauri, Narayani Namastute, Narayani Namastute. Thank you. Before we get started, I would like to take you through the purpose behind today's seminar, Dimension of Women Empowerment. तोड़ना है हर पिंजरा, मेरी उड़ान अभी बाकी है. तोड़ना है हर पिंजरा, मेरी उड़ान अभी बाकी है. मंजिलें जमी भर नहीं, आसमां अभी बाकी है. लहरों का थमना नहीं, समुंदर की बेबसी है. लहरों का थमना नहीं, समुंदर की बेबसी है. बाहर खामोशी ही सही, भीतर कहीं तूफान अभी बाकी है. भीतर कहीं तूफान अभी बाकी है. As we all know, women are the epitome of strength, love, courage. They have attained immense success in every field, whether in academics, defense, sports, politics, etc. International Women's Day is a celebration of women around the world. But how did it begin and how can we get involved? International Women's Day is a global day celebrating the social, political, economic and cultural achievement of women. The day also marks a call for action for accelerating women's equality. It is a day when women are recognized for their achievement without regards to division, whether national, ethnic, linguistic, cultural, economic and political. The celebration first came about in the early 1900. In 1908, women had begun agitating for greater equality and less oppressive working conditions, with 15,000 women taking to the streets in New York City, demanding shorter working hours, better pay, and voting rights. Thus, the first International Women's Day was celebrated during the year 1909. So with this, may I now request our dynamic personality, IC Principal, Dr. Harish Dubey Sir, to deliver the welcome address and welcome all our participants and guests for today. Dr. Harish Dubey Sir.
Thank you, Aarti. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Good evening, everyone. Respected Director of BK Birla Autonomous and Knight College, Dr. Naresh Chandra Sir. Dynamic Principal of BK Birla College, Dr. Avinash Patil Sir. A woman who has greatly influenced my life, motherly figure for me, Dr. Madhuri Sharan Madam. Shiv Chhatrapati Awardee and proud woman of Indian sports fraternity, Mrs. Sheetal Mahajan Madam. A brave lady and first woman air commandant of Indian Navy, of whom we all are proud, Lieutenant Commander Seema Rani Sharma. My fellow colleagues from different colleges, my dear student friends, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, I would like to wish Happy Women's Day and convey my regards to all the women across the globe and extend a warm welcome to you all on my personal behalf and also on behalf of management, teachers and students of BK Birla Knight College. I would like to appreciate all our young teachers for taking this initiative of organizing a national webinar on dimensions of women empowerment under the banner of Women Development Cell of BK Birla Knight College. I also take this opportunity to inform all those who do not know about BK Birla Knight College. The Knight College, started in 2019, is a multi-faculty institution offering BA, BSc, BCom, BMS and BCom Accounting Finance. We are all set to start BSc Computer Science and BCom Financial Markets from the next academic year, obviously subject to the concurrence from the Government of Maharashtra and University of Mumbai. As it is an independent college in the campus of renowned BK Birla Autonomous College, offering University of Mumbai curriculum, it is also intending to continue legacy of providing the best of the education to the holistic development of the students. College runs with the prime objective of facilitating the student who wish to earn and learn. Nowadays, a large section of society believes in earning while learning. It is not only those who lost the opportunity of completing their graduation, but also those who wish to obtain some extra skills while completing their graduation. We at BK Birla Knight College has taken up this challenge not only to provide best education to the students, but also to make them self-confident and nurture their leadership qualities and develop as best human beings who can serve our society and nation very well. I'm sure with the valuable talk of our eminent speakers, they all will get to know about the different dimensions of women. Madam Sharan, who is basically from academic field, but she is a versatile woman and strongest lady one can ever imagine. Although she is at USA now, but the invitation I asked her, she immediately accepted and she was very much ready to address the younger generation. We are really blessed that Madam is there amongst us today. Mrs. Sheetal Mahajan is also joining us from Finland and had no prior connection with us. But knowing the importance of the occasion, she also immediately agreed our request and accepted our invitation. We are very much thankful to you, Madam. I hope after listening to you, all our young girls will get motivated to make their career in sports too. BK Birla Autonomous College is known for its NCC activities. We have 330 cadets on roll, maybe the largest strength any college can have in the country. Out of these 330 cadets, 130 are girl cadets. And so I thought, why not to request Lieutenant Commander Seema Rani Sharma, who happens to be my cadet at Jai Hind Detachment of 1 Maharashtra Naval Unit NCC, to inspire our girl cadets on this occasion. I am so happy that Seema did not take a single minute to accept our invitation. We all are proud of Lieutenant Commander Seema Rani for being the first women air combatant of Indian Navy. With this, I once again welcome you all for joining us today in celebrating International Women's Day by organizing this national seminar on dimensions of women empowerment. Thank you very much once again. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for your address. Today we have among us the most versatile and dynamic leader, Dr. Avinash Patil, Principal, BK Birla College Autonomous. May I now request sir to give opening remark. Dr. Avinash Patil, sir.
Good evening, everyone. Our esteemed speakers, Dr. Madhuri Sharan Madam, MD Monad Nanotech Private Limited and the renowned scientist, Padma Shri Sheetal Mahajan Rani, Padma Shri and Shiv Chhatrapati Rajya Krida Puraskar awardee, Lieutenant Commander Seema Rani Sharma, former aviator, Indian Navy and first woman combatant of Indian Navy, Dr. Harish Dubey, Dr. Naresh Chandra Sir, Director Education, BK Birla College Kalyan and BK Birla Knight College Kalyan, all the faculty members from the Knight College as well as other invited guests and dear students. Wish you all a happy International Women's Day. The Women's Day, which is marked annually on March 8th as the International Women's Day, is one of the most important days of the year to celebrate women's achievements, raise awareness about women's equality, lobby for accelerated gender parity, and fundraise for female-focused charities. And I congratulate the WDC of Knight College to organize this national webinar on dimensions of women empowerment today on this occasion of International Women's Day. As Dr. Harish has already welcomed all the guest speakers, I join hand with Dr. Harish Dubey, IC Principal of BK Birla Knight College, to welcome all the guest speakers for today's program. And I'm very happy to see today on a screen on online mode these three dynamic ladies and Dr. Madhuri Sharon Madam, as Dr. Harish has already said. We have seen her working continuously for the development of science in the field of biotechnology. And today we will have again an opportunity to listen to her, motivating our students, and definitely the girl students as well as the boy students also get motivated from her on this occasion. Miss Sheetal Mahajan, the great achiever in the field of sports. Our students are very lucky to have her as a guest speaker today on this occasion, and along with her, the Lieutenant Commander Seema Rani Sharma will be a role model to all our girl students to fly high and achieve the highest in today's era. So thank you very much, madams, all my three madams, I will say, for accepting the invitation from BK Birla Knight College and gracing this occasion. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your informative remark. May I now call upon Ms. Ria Matthew, Assistant Professor, Department of Botany, to introduce our first speaker of the day. Ms. Ria, ma'am.
Good evening everyone. On behalf of BK Birla Knight College, I am privileged to introduce one of the most Mrs.
Ria, you're muted.
Kapil sir, the sound is not audible. Kapil sir.
Good evening everyone. On behalf of BK Birla Knight College, I am privileged to introduce one of the most eminent women sports person of India with great pride. She is none other than Mrs. Sheetal Mahajan Rane, a Padma Shri awardee and our chief guest on this special occasion. Good evening. Good evening everyone. On behalf of BK Birla Knight College, I am privileged to introduce one of the most eminent women sports person of India with great pride. She is none other than Mrs. Sheetal Mahajan Rane, a Padma Shri awardee and our chief guest on this special occasion of Women's Day. She actually does not need any introduction. Google describes everything about her. She has made us Indians proud several times with her achievements. I feel that words would fall short to describe her achievements, but still I would try to introduce her briefly. Mrs. Sheetal Mahajan Rane is an ace skydiver of our country who has made our nation proud many times by her outstanding performance in this sport, which is mostly dominated by men. Her struggle, coupled with her strong determination, brought her all the way where she is now. She has represented India in several international skydiving camps, championships and world record attempts since 2004. She has graduated in BSc Zoology with a first-class degree from Fergusson College of Pune University and has completed 2 years in Advanced Diploma in Multimedia from Arena Multimedia. She has done a basic skydiving 5-jump course with Indian Air Force in December 2007. She has won numerous awards for her achievements. She is a holder of 6 world records in skydiving and 18 national records. She is known as the first woman to perform an accelerated free fall jump over the Antarctica from 11,600 feet and the youngest woman to jump over both the geographic North and the South Poles at freezing temperatures. She is the first woman jumper to perform it without trials. The Government of India honoured Sheetal Ma'am in 2011 with the 4th highest civilian award of Padma Shri. In 2004, after her successful jump over the North Pole, Sheetal Ma'am was awarded the Tenzing Norgay National Adventure Award, making her the first civilian to receive the award. In 2005, she received the Shiva Chhatrapati Maharashtra State Sports Special Award, which is the highest prestigious award given by the Maharashtra government. Sheetal Ma'am is the first Indian woman to be awarded the FAI Sabiha Gokin Medal in 2018 for recognition of her achievement in skydiving over 7 continents and over 6 continents within 1 year. Ma'am has also received Godavari Gaurav Puraskar and Venutai Chavan Yuva Puraskar in 2005. She is the first Indian woman to perform halo jump, that is high altitude low opening skydiving jump in 2017 and also the first Indian woman to perform parachute jump wearing a sari. It is a privilege for all of us gathered here to have such a celebrity between us as our chief guest. Her wedding was the first ever Indian wedding to be carried out in a hot air balloon on 19th April 2008, which has become one of the 18 national records achieved by her. Always keen to share her passion, Sheetal Ma'am is now the founder of Phoenix Skydiving Academy, a skydiving training center based in Pune, established in 2012. She is the first civilian female Indian skydiving coach and the first woman to skydive on 7 continents. She encourages youngsters to pursue the sports by offering them free of cost skydiving coaching and ground training. In 2014, Sheetal Ma'am planned and executed the idea of making a new record of maximum number of tandem skydiving in 1 day on foreign land in Spain. Madam has completed skydiving judge course and is the only civilian woman skydiving coach and judge available in India. On 17 September 2018, Sheetal Ma'am has wished Prime Minister of India Shri Narendra Modi ji on his birthday from 13,500 feet with greeting card. Currently, Madam, along with ace civilian skydivers and retired skydivers from armed forces, has formed a skydiving team for participation in Skydiving World Cup in 2021 in Russia. As Sheetal Ma'am has always said, I never limited myself, I never limited my ideas. I feel that on this special occasion, we all should take inspiration from her words. Through her life, she has taught us that we should dream big and should have the courage to follow it. So, with a huge round of applause, let us please call upon Sheetal ma'am to grace this occasion and motivate us all with her words. Hope you all have a great time. Thank you.
Shital ma'am, please can you unmute yourself?
Somebody unmuted me actually. That's why. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Namaste. Actually, thank you so much for inviting me for this program. I'm so honored and I'm very happy to see the presentation who have made this. It's beautiful and happy to see that beautiful presentation. It's you have said everything from my side that what I wanted to say about myself. So I got little more time to speak about what I wanted to address to the students who wants to do something in their life. Hello everyone, my name is Sheetal Mahajan. You have all seen my presentation on behalf of the organizers. I have done skydiving on North Pole, South Pole, and all 7 continents. I wanted to tell you all these youngsters who are listening to me that why I did skydiving on North Pole. There are so many people ask me why you wanted to become a skydiver. So I never wanted to become a skydiver. I wanted to become a painter or engineer or doctor, just like everyone wants to become. And I was in a college, just like you guys are there in the college. And I used to think that I will do. My mother wanted me to become a doctor. My father wanted me to become an engineer, but I wanted to do something different. Nobody must have done in their life, and I was in that conflict in my mind that what I should become. Then one day I saw aeroplane is flying, and since my childhood I used to see that aeroplane is flying. Then I used to think that who's flying the aeroplane. Then I got to know that it's a pilot who fly that. So I thought I want to become a pilot. Then when I got to know about it's very expensive task. I must say to become a pilot, I need to get the training done, and the training cost a lot. Then I thought I will join armed forces so that my training will be free and I will do the flying for my country. I will be able to serve my country. Then I got to know that it's not that easy to be a part of armed forces. For that I need a graduation. I was not having that patience in me to wait till my graduation. Then when I was in 11th, I met one of my friend's brother. Till my 11th, I did my swimming till national level, table tennis, basketball. You just name the sport, and I have tried that sport. Then I was doing my painting classes also. I used to learn painting and I used to teach also painting. Then I got that kida of young. When I was in 11th, I got that passion of doing painting and exhibitions and everything, and I thought that I can be a painter like M.F. Hussain sir. Then I applied for JJ School of Arts admission, and I got selected. I got a letter that I can take the admission, but my father said he will not let me go to Mumbai from Pune because I'm based in Pune. So he gave me a chance. He said that you can take the admission in any Pune college where you can pursue your painting career. Then I said I don't want to go in other school rather than JJ school. Then my father said that painting is not the career. You should try something else. It's something like engineering or something related, which will give me a big salary, big fat salary. So I was not concerned about the salary things. I was concerned about that what will satisfy my thing, my heart. That okay, I'm born for this. So I am whatever doing. I should be. That is the thing I want to do in my life. And in 11th, I met one of my classmate friend. Her name was Jyoti Subriya, and she was from Kashmir. And her brother was there. whose name was Squadron Leader Kamal Singh Obad, and he used to train India National Defense Academy cadets, and okay, skydiving he used to teach. And I was knowing him from almost 1.5 years, and I saw his one article in newspaper, and I was like, why his photograph is there in Times of India's front page? And then I read the article and I got to know that he's first Indian who did skydiving on North Pole and South Pole. That gave me a big shock. You know that I know this person, means I know this is my friend's brother, and he's such a big person, and he never said that, he never mentioned about it, that he did skydiving on North Pole and South Pole. So I went to my friend's place on Sunday and I asked her, can I meet your brother? And I met him. I asked sir that, sir, can you teach me skydiving, and can I do skydiving like you on North Pole and South Pole? He said that, yeah, you can do it. I will tell you. And it took me 1.5 years to chase my dream, because whenever I used to go to her place and I used to talk to her brother, he used to say that, okay, I will tell you next time, next Sunday, next Sunday, like that. And he asked me to wait for 1.5 years. And one day I was really angry at that. Bhaiya, if you don't want to tell me what is now skydiving, what is North Pole, South Pole, then please say it on my face that if you don't want to help. Then he said that it's not like that. I was checking your patience, that you really have that fire. You really want to do that. Do you really have that hunger to do something? There are many students who approach me, him, that time, that they want to do skydiving and they want to pursue in career, and that same. Now I can understand what he used to feel, because nowadays there are so many students who approach me, they want to do skydiving. Now in Maharashtra State Board, in 11th they have a chapter on my me, and in that chapter also they read about my story, and they feel like, okay, they want to do skydiving in their life. But nobody continues to do the follow-up. Nobody wants to do, okay, one day, 1 week, maximum 2 weeks, and then they're like, okay, my mama says no, then my papa says no. Nobody follows that. So I was behind Kamal sir for almost 1.5 years. So please tell me, please guide me. Then when I was in 12th, I got the idea of what is North Pole, South Pole. That time, Google and all this stuff was not that with the full of information. There were very few information was available on internet. So I tried my best to get the information. I took the follow-up, and then he told me about North Pole, South Pole, and going on North Pole was little less expensive. So I chose to go on North Pole first, because my father's salary was 18,000 rupees and the expense was 15 lakhs. So my father said, I will be not able to get that much money for you. So we searched some sponsors, and then I did my first jump on 18th April 2004 over the North Pole. Then I thought it will be very easy, like doing skydiving in life and pursuing this career. I did my first jump without any training over the North Pole. And now we will say that why, what was thought behind that? That actually, when I told my family first that I want to do skydiving on North Pole, my father said, are you mad? Means हमारे पूरे खानदान में कोई एरोप्लेन में बैठा नहीं है, and you want to do skydiving? Means एरोप्लेन में बैठना नहीं है, you want to do skydiving from that? And it's not easy. It's very difficult. Then, sorry. Am I audible? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes,
Something came on my screen actually. Okay, sorry. It's not easy. Then my father said, okay, I will let you do skydiving on North Pole, and but the expense is not that means we will be not able to do that much money, sponsorship and all that stuff. Then I convinced my father that let's give a try. Let's try to get the sponsors and all. Then at the same time, the critics started coming up. My in-laws, my relatives, my so sweet family members we have in our everyone life, who came and said, अकेली बेटी है, क्यों भेज रहे हो, हाथ पीठ टूट गया तो कौन शादी करेगा, and everyone stopped me. Then some sponsors said that you're a girl, it's not your cup of tea. There are so many friends also who said that. Then I started getting that feeling that एक महिला हूँ, या I'm a girl. It's not that I'm a girl and I can't do it. Give me one chance that I can prove this world. I can do it. And I got this chance. And when I was at North Pole, it was freezing minus temperature, minus 38. And my instructor said that you cannot jump. I said, why? He said that you will be scared. I said, sir, if मुझे अगर डर ना था या डर लगता तो मैं यहाँ तक पहुंचती ही नहीं. मुझे I just say that I can do the jump. Then there was some complication. Weather was getting bad. They said storm is coming up. We will not let you jump. Then 2 days they postponed my jump. We managed everything. After 2 days, I got the permissions to jump, and I did jump over the North Pole. After that, I really thought that it will be very easy to do my career in skydiving, but it was not that easy. So many people said after coming back, said that biggest thing, that what is a big thing you have done skydiving on North Pole? It's not a big thing. When some people saw my video and said that in ministry, said that aisa video like this video we can shoot in Ramoji Film City also, so we don't believe that you have done the jump. I said, can you just do the verification with the Russian people, because North Pole is under Russians and South Pole is under Americans, so why don't you do the verification? Nobody was ready to give a recognition. Then I that time our President of India was APJ Abdul Kalam sir. I went to meet him. I asked him help, that sir, I'm not getting any recognition from Indian government. Can you please help me out? Then he sent my papers for verification, and after 1.5 months, it got verified that I did my first jump over the North Pole, and then all doors started opening. I got nominated for first national award, which was Tenzing Norgay National Award. Then, hello. Okay. Then after my national award, I thought it will be again very easy to get the permissions. Then I planned my Antarctica jump. I did my Antarctica jump. Actually, that time also APJ Abdul Kalam sir was president, and he helped me a lot during that time. I did my second jump Antarctica. After that, again, I thought that it will be very easy, but it was not easy at all till now. Whenever you say that you are a woman, you want to do something, you want to pursue career in some field where no women are there. Like there are very few women doing career in skydiving field in India also. So I will say it was not that easy journey. I want to tell every woman who's listening to me that what is women empowerment? For me, women empowerment is making women confident and strong, economically, socially, and make them literate. Psychologically also they need to be positive. That all things, how we can do it? We already are very strong by nature, and what we need to do, we have to stand by each other. Means right now, whatever I'm telling you, I am telling you from my experience. I have faced so many problems, and I will say that I have achieved this much because I was consistent. I never stopped with my critics. Means I will thank my all the critics. Who used to say that you can't do it. Whenever they used to say that okay, you can't do it, I took that as a compliment, and I started moving more with the more power. That okay, I want to prove him wrong. I want to prove her wrong. Anyone wrong who's saying that I can't do it. As a woman, especially, I can't do it. So I will say that if you want to make this world better, to live yourself happily, you have to conquer that fear. Means आपको जहाँ पर डर लगता है that लोग क्या कहेंगे, what people will say. If you do, there are very few girls who pursue their dream. Means this dream was not that easy to follow. After marriage, my in-laws also asked me to stop the career. I cannot fly ahead because I blessed with the twins, and everyone thought that okay, now I have blessed the twins, I should stop skydiving and take care of the kids. I was taking care of my kids also and started my skydiving. I did my comeback with wingsuit flying, and at that time, this is the biggest advice I can give everyone. I convinced my in-laws family, and especially my husband, by saying that if you want your wife to become a Sunita Williams, you want your wife to go in space also, then, and you want your wife also to cook in the house, she can balance both the things if you support. And now if Sunita Williams is in space, how she is able to manage? because her husband, her family, everyone is supporting her. Like that, please support me. Even I will be able to do the something good, better, or something like that, great thing in my life, to show that what Indian woman can do. Then I tried my best to convince my family. My family got convinced. If my husband don't support me, then how I can do that? Then now, when I am not at home, my husband take care of my kids. Then I'm back. We both take care of them. So it's balanced. We have to convince our family members before marriage. I convinced my father and mother that whatever I'm doing, skydiving or whatever education I'm doing, it's right. Means it's I'm not doing anything wrong in my life. So I need to convince them. I made them make them understand that please stand by me. I'm doing something good for the society also, myself also. I will be a good human being in coming means in future. You have to convince your family. You have to convince only family. Once your family stand by you, you really don't have to worry. And my family stood by me because only one thing, they had a faith. उन्होंने एक विश्वास दिखाया. And उतना मैंने I was standing on my words. Whatever I said, I did it very honestly, and I was very consistent. I was having if you have really a goal in your life, see, you don't and no woman need a motivation. You are yourself a motivator. If you have any dream in your life, what you want to do in your life, you don't need a motivation. You just need to pursue that. Need to follow that dream. Just follow it. You will achieve that success. You will reach to the goal. But you need to be consistent. You don't have to stop. If any hurdle comes, you just overcome that. And now some people says that how to overcome the if any problem comes, how to overcome that. Just think from other side, because हम एक ही साइड से सोचते हैं. Actually, one more thing I will be I have very less time. I will say और एक चीज मैं बोलना चाहूंगी before I leave. I will say that women also has to control on their anger. There are actually there is one saying that if you control your anger in your life, the person who gets very angry on very small stuff, it's like a glass. He is like a glass. And person who is calm and handles the situation in a very calm way, he's like a diamond. And both the diamond and glass both shines in sunlight, but only diamond remains cool, and glass gets hot in the when there is any temperature comes from sunlight. So I will say situation, whenever a situation comes, very bad situation comes in life, you have to be cool and calm and handle the situation like a diamond, and you will shine in your life. And there are many things I can say. We have very short time for everyone. They have given 20 minutes. So in the last, I will say, nobody can stop you in your life for doing anything. Only one person can stop you. That is you yourself. Until and unless you don't give up in your life, nobody will stop you. And that is a key, at least of success of my life. And whenever you want to do anything in your life, please take your family's support. Convince them that you are doing something right. And once your family is standing by you, nobody can even stop you to ask you to stop. And today I would like to say thank you to BK Birla College, Knight College, especially for giving me opportunity to speak in dimension of women empowerment. And thank you, sir, for inviting. Actually, yes, as you said in your speech, that just 2 days before I got an invitation to speak in the program. But I'm very happy that these youngsters are there are 300 and plus youngsters are there who are listening, and very happy to hear them questions also. After some time, whenever you are anyone has any questions, please write it down. I will be happy to answer you all. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your motivating words and sharing your insight related to your adventurous life.
You're not audible, ma'am. You're not audible.
Sorry. Thank you, ma'am, for your motivating words and sharing your insights related to your adventure life. Ma'am, it's rightly said, डर सबको लगता है, डर के आगे जीत है, and we have learned it from you. Ma'am, you have really shown us a unique dimension of life that one can make a career in skydiving as well. Thank you once again, ma'am. Thank you. May I now again request Miss Ria Matthew, ma'am, to introduce our next speaker of the day.
Girls with dreams become women with vision. Today, we have one such woman amongst us who dreamed of success and is now at the epitome of success. She is none other than our revered chief guest for today, Dr. Madhuri Sharon. On behalf of BK Birla Knight College, I feel extremely honored to introduce the chief guest on this occasion, Dr. Madhuri Sharon, who is an Indian scientist and has held many responsible, professional and administrative Girls with dreams become women with vision. Today, we have one such woman amongst us who dreamed of success and is now at the epitome of success. She is none other than our revered chief guest for today, Dr. Madhuri Sharon. On behalf of BK Birla Knight College, I feel extremely honored to introduce the chief guest on this occasion, Dr. Madhuri Sharon, who is an Indian scientist and has held many responsible, professional and administrative positions in the field of research and academics. She is a well-known personality in the field of botany, nanobiotechnology and biochemistry in both academic as well as industry circles. Madam has been associated with many well-known research institutions of India as a research director and managing director. Along with her research work, she has also enlightened the young minds of India by teaching in MGM University, MNIT Jaipur, Walchand Institute and many more. Ma'am has completed her MSc from Patna, India and has done her PhD from UK through a merit-based scholarship. Even after doing her PhD, she continued following her passion by pursuing postdoctorate in Fellow Bolton Institute of Technology, UK. Since then, she has devoted her whole life towards her passion, that is science and technology. Madhuri ma'am has 14 patents in different fields of science and also has 214 research publications in her name. She has been a guide for several budding researchers doing their PhD, MTech, BTech and MSc and is also a recognized guide for universities. Ma'am has also made her valuable contribution towards more than 20 important research projects. Madhuri ma'am has always been like the lamp that spreads its light everywhere. Like a lighted lamp, she has spread her light of knowledge throughout the world by being an author of several books. You would also find the profile of Madhuri ma'am on ResearchGate, which is a world-famous European commercial social networking site for scientists and researchers. I am feeling very proud to say that Madhuri ma'am has represented our nation at international level in several important international collaborations held at Netherlands, Japan, Italy, Mexico, France, and Beijing. For her exemplary contributions in science, she has received several awards including Vijay Shri, Bharat Gaurav, Lok Vigyan Samman and Rashtra Pratibha Puraskar. Ma'am has got the most influential Scientist of the Decade award in the field of nanomedicine. Nanomedicine is the application of nanotechnology to the field of medicine by the use of very small nano-sized materials. Nanomedicine is an emerging field of science that has drastically improved diagnosis, treatment and follow-up of many diseases like cancer. Madam's contribution towards this emerging field is definitely a great help for mankind. She was also selected to assess and do the case studies on the development and commercialization of nanotechnology-based value-added products from the Asia-Pacific region for United Nations Asia-Pacific region. She is one amongst the reviewers for ISRO research projects. She was nominated as one of the jury for assessment of status of floriculture in SAARC countries for Biotech Consortium India Limited. She has made many valuable research contributions at the national and the international level via carrying out many special assignments for many recognized institutions like Biotech Consortium India Limited, for the Ministry of Non-Renewable Energy India and many more. I am proud to share that such an eminent personality was a part of our BK Birla College for 6 years. It is an honor for all of us that you were here for 6 precious years. She is an amazing person, a loving mother and an adorable daughter. She has been an extraordinary caring wife too. People like her are hard to find. She is an inspiration to many. Apart from her busy schedule, she also takes interest in cultural activities like singing and artistic work.
May I now request Madam to take over? Yes, Madam, please.
Hello, can you
Yes,
hear
Madam,
me?
you are audible, Madam. Yeah, you are audible.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, at the onset, I would like to thank Dr. Harish Dubey and his wonderful team for organizing this seminar. You know, when he asked me to give a talk on this occasion, and coming from a man to give a talk about a woman, the first topic that came to my mind was the role of men in women's every achievement and development. Although we say we are Shakti, women are Shakti, in my definition, we are powerful because we are Shakti, we can tolerate a lot. And that empowers us to do a lot of things. So I thought I must acknowledge men in my life on this particular day, because throughout my life I have been amongst them and working very, very nicely with their support. About myself, she has said too much. Ria, I think I didn't deserve such a good introduction. And I felt really very small after our previous speakers, great achievements. But however, me as a woman, I had more interest in artistic things. I love dancing, music, painting, poetry writing, reading novels. But my father thought that I would be a better scientist. And although I loved those things, I got better marks in science. So obviously I was forced to study science. And that was a decision of my father. And I think that was a wonderful decision because he knew me better than I knew myself. And he forced me into a direction which I started loving so much that it has become my life. My whole family, the family inside my house and family outside my working field, they are of scientists. And I'm glad that he gave this support to me. He had very high hopes from me. And like every father has, if you would have met him before meeting me, and the way he praises me, you would have said, oh, he was talking about her. I mean, that's the impetus that I was getting from my father, the first man in my life. Of course, I cannot deny the role of women in my life. My mother was equally great and all the supporters and sisters. But for me, family, inside and outside family, has been very important in my journey of life. Okay. So I'll tell you two important occasions. One was that when I was working in Excel Industry as a general manager, people came to me and said, ma'am, you should join Indian Women's Science Association and please pay for the life membership. And I said, why do you make a separate women scientist and men scientist? Why do you separate yourself from them? This is not good. And a very good answer I got from them. And I started realizing, yes, women is something slightly different. And somewhere they are suppressed, somewhere they are coming up. Those who are coming up are fine, but those who are suppressed, that was their sentence. They said, ma'am, all the women are not lucky like you, that they can do and rise in life as they want to. And that's why we want to have Indian Women Scientist Association. And I was really touched because she gave other examples also. The moment they become mother, all the scientists, they leave their job at least for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. And so that was one moment when I realized, yes, I have to think about women also. And the second moment was, once I was going to Israel, I with Agrotech, and at that time I was also an advisor to Israeli embassy as a agrotechnologist. So I was going for that, and there I had to fill up a form. That form said, 2-3 things, one was which country you want to visit. One was them, who impressed you the most in your life to become what you are today. And what they were telling me afterwards was very good. Ki all the Indians, they would write Mahatma Gandhi, Mother Teresa and all this. But what I wrote, I really looked at this question and I realized that people who have impressed me very much, right from my parents, my family, to my teachers, and to everybody with whom I have worked. Everybody has given something to me to be what I am. Not one person has made me what I am. And in that list, the men dominated. It was so beautiful for me, that realization, because in my time, majority of my teachers were men. So this was also a very great thing for me. And actually, after MSc, I wanted to go abroad for PhD, and I applied to Bristol University and I got admission. And I came to my father and I said, I want to go. And you remember coming from Bihar state, from a small town, not like Bombay, Delhi. So when I asked him, my father said, I will allow you, but you are very young. I must say here, I finished MSc by the time I was 19 and a half, because in school I had jumped twice classes. They used to call it double promotion. If you do well, they give you double promotion. So instead of at 15 and a half, I completed matriculation at 13 and a half. So by the time I came to MSc, I was 19 and a half. And he said, you are too young to go, and you have, would it be okay if I allow you to get married and then go? I said, okay, if it is before September, fine, I'm ready to get married. But that person has to allow me to carry out my PhD. So my mother came across an advert. At that time, in 1965, I got married by advert. Advert, you know, at that time, they used to write homely, milky white, beautiful girl, all that. This advert said he wants somebody who is interested in research and would like to pursue research career in science. My mother was sending the papers for selling, and she just saw that little advert, and she said, I think he's for Muni. That's my name. And that's how that marriage got fixed, and we both came to England to do our PhD. In Leicester University at that time, I was the only Indian woman, no other. That was in 1965, got a scholarship also there, and Queen's Merit Scholarship. So that was a lucky thing. So entering into field of science was along with my husband. And he never, you know, in my time, I must be with you all 300 students, I must tell you, I must be like your great-grandmother's age, 77 today. So, you know, in that time, a husband allowing his wife to be as much educated as he is a very rare thing. But that's what he wanted. And he was second man in my life, you know, who really came very close to me. And like my father, I left my father's house and he promoted me throughout, and he was a support system. And when we came back to India, we both came back together. I remained in Pune University and Potato Research Center, etc. for some time, but eventually I ended up in industry. So I was general manager in Excel, then I became vice president in GoFic, and then I became director in Reliance. And all my jobs demanded a lot of my foreign tours and Indian tours. I never asked for permission from my husband. I used to just inform him, I'm going to Thailand today. You know, so that was the comfort that the men gave me in my life. And at that time, my father-in-law was living. I was a very family woman, you know, for my house is very important thing. I love to keep it very decked up. I love cooking for my family with my job, but I wouldn't give up my career. So then what happened that my father-in-law was there, and I thought, actually he came to me when I was expecting my first in England. So when he came, because I didn't have a mother-in-law, that he will support me. And everybody was scared because he was a very orthodox, very angry man, and they were all worried that how he would go and he will not be help to her, but he wants to go, so let him go. So he came to me. And believe me, we used to sit and drink together, and he was the man who taught me swimming. That was my father-in-law, the third person in my life. Had he not been with me, with 2 daughters, just on maid servant, I couldn't have left my daughters and continued with my career. So that was another man, you know, in my life. He lived till he was 100 years old. That was great for me. I thought he lived for me, and always used to say, my daughter-in-law is a very competent woman. She goes abroad alone, works, comes back. And, you know, so I just can't tell you that how much men, they have supported me in my journey of life to be whatever I am. So far as science is concerned, now that's my favorite topic. I started as a botany student. When I entered for PhD, I shifted to biotechnology. When I came back to India, I went into management courses and I remained in industries a lot. But in every industry, my first deal was that you have to allow me to take PhD students so that I'm abreast with the knowledge of the science. And they wanted me, so they allowed me, every industry. And that's how I kept on guiding PhD students through the industry. So the students were also glad to come and join us. So then by 1992, my husband, Professor Sharif, the first Indian scientist. Hello? Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, madam. Yes, madam.
He was the first Indian scientist to publish a paper on carbon nanotechnology. We call him the father of carbon nanotechnology in India. So I used to do his students' thesis correction. He was professor in IIT. And his students' correction, brought me closer to the subject of nanotechnology. And I realized that as a biologist, I am closer to science, to nanotechnology. My DNA is only 2 nanometer thick. Mitochondria in a cell is 30 to 40 nanometers. Of course, nucleus is little bigger, but that is about 708 nanometers below micro. So I realized I'm very close to it, and that's how I started getting enrolled into nanotechnology. Only thing I realized that when I met especially and saw Harish and Datta discussing with my husband physics, that my physics is weak. And I realized that I have to come in contact with physics more because I have entered into nanotechnology. So I took 10th standard books of physics, read them again, because as a student when I was in school, college, I didn't like physics very much. Then I took 12th standard books, then BSc books, MSc books, and making myself, a little bit of a physicist. And eventually I ended up becoming a visiting professor of physics in Tsukuba in Japan. So I realized physics is a very interesting subject, but I hated it when I was a student. But self-reading made me very close to it. For a scientist, anybody who wants to enter into this field of science, you have to have this inner feeling of reading. A voracious reading helps you in writing, in reading, and in understanding the subject. So that has helped me. And that's how I became very close to nanotechnology. And I have been director in Walchand of nanotechnology. I've been director in SICS of NSNRC. And now on 10th March, a new institute is going to be inaugurated in Jaipur, and I'm going to be, which is on the name of my late husband, which is going to be called Professor Sharan's Institute of Technology. I have already joined on 1st of March as a director there. So nanotechnology is, or I should rather call nanobiotechnology, although I've worked in other fields of nano also, but nanobiotechnology is very close to my heart. So if you see my journey, and in this journey of entering into nanotechnology, all the research team who worked with us, they made me very rich in subject, because it was their inputs, it was their paper, it was their research experiment outputs that used to come in front of me, and I would look at them, and whatever they do, that enriched me. One thing I realized, students are your best teachers. They make you realize, they make you prepare more, because you have to face them. So although we had Professor Sharan students and my students, but right from the beginning, I think when I was hardly 28, 29 years old, I was Guru Mata to all his PhD students, and these students have enriched me. Most of them were men, but they're boys, but they were girls also. So I acknowledge all of them. So my life and my achievements are acknowledgement of people who allowed me to grow up into a scientist and helped me, to live comfortably without any problem. I had a very wonderful life, lovely life, because I had a husband who was supporting me, and I had people around me. God sent all the best people around me so that I can enjoy the life. Only thing that end of my life, 2020, 31st December, has started a very bad phase of my life. When I lost my husband, I was very non-communicative, but thanks to Harish, he has made me communicative. He made me talk to you all. And there is one more person, Harish, I want to thank you if he's there in your this conference, and that is Dr. Naresh Chandra. He's a very silent supporter at the back. I'm very obliged to him also, And I liked him so much, because once he came to our house after my husband retired, and he said, why doesn't he join Birla and start Nano there? And my husband said that I have already got Professor Emeritus after retirement in IIT. And then Dr. Naresh Chandra and we were having a dinner at Renaissance in Powai. And he said a beautiful sentence that Professor Sharan, IIT will get many Professor Sharans, but Birla will not get. So please join us. And that sentence touched us that we both, husband and wife, Birla, joined us and started the culture of nanotechnology in Bombay University and later in all the other universities. So with all these words, I want to thank everybody to be a patient listener to a very, very informal talk about my journey. It's nothing very great, but it's very, very, very enriching, empowering, because I have lived a life where I have taken care of my kids, I've taken care of my father-in-law, and at least 8 nieces and nephews of my husband, because Bombay, many people come for higher studies. So they all lived with us and we had lovely life with them. And all those boys who came and lived with us for their studies, they are closer to me than their parents. So I acknowledge them also for their contribution to me. But last and not the least is all the women. They are there in me. They are with me. I don't have to acknowledge them. That will be like acknowledging myself. Especially Ria and Savita and the team of Harish, whom we didn't know, but the way they have joined, and I sitting here in Richmond in USA at -4 degrees centigrade, feel very warm with your affection. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Today we are very fortunate to hear you, ma'am. Your words of wisdom. Really, ma'am, it was very, very learning lesson from you. Ma'am, it is like we have learned that one person can be a scientist, an artist, a mentor, a family person. From you, ma'am, we have learned that one person can be successful in so many fields. Thank you once again, ma'am. You are truly an inspiration. Thank you, ma'am.
My pleasure.
Now, I myself take this opportunity to introduce our next speaker of the day. Kapil sir.
Sailing in rough seas comes naturally to a woman. Women entered the Indian Navy in July 1992, where they were inducted into support functions. For 17 years, women officers played key support roles, but never got a chance to be part of operations at sea or in air. In 2009, the Indian Navy inducted the first 2 women officers into combat roles in naval aviation, Lieutenant Commander Seema Rani Sharma and Lieutenant Commander Ambika Huda, the Indian Navy first female aviators, and this was the first time in the Indian Navy that women are being inducted into combat specialization. Not every beauty wear crowns, some wear caps and serve as heroes. With this, I, Assistant Professor Aarti More, B.K. Birla, Knight Arts, Science and Commerce College, take a huge privilege to introduce the first woman combatant of Indian Navy, Lieutenant Commander Seema Rani Sharma. She went on to beat all expectations. She is a real stalwart who not just broke the proverbial glass ceiling, but also went on to leave her mark of professional excellence while wearing the white uniform. She received her prestigious commendation in CIC at Eastern Naval Command for successfully completing her mission with passion, precision, and accuracy. She was felicitated at Aero India 2019 by Government of India as the Woman Achiever in Aviation. She is the first ever woman aircrew observer of Indian Navy who successfully passed out with flying colors. She was selected for deputation for training towards newly inducted Boeing aircraft of Indian Navy. She was mission controller for the SAR mission for Commander Abhilash Tomy from Mauritius, whose boat was damaged due to cyclone while participating in Golden Globe race. She carried out on-field and airborne trials for naval aviation projects with major aviation companies like Mrs. Boeing, HAL and PEL. During the mysteriously lost Malaysian airline MH370, she was actively involved in the search and rescue operations in the Indian Ocean region and coordinated with USA and Australian Navy for smooth conduct of rescue operations. During the aftermath of Pulwama attack, she had formulated strategic plans to optimally enhance reconnaissance operations over the Indian EEZ. With this, I extend warm welcome to one more empowered woman with a different dimension of its kind, that is Lieutenant Commander Seema Rani Sharma. May I now request ma'am to share her words of wisdom with today's audience across the country.
Thank you very much for that wonderful introduction, I must say that. And I would really like to thank Dubey sir for giving me this opportunity and this platform so that I can connect with people who would need my guidance and support in their present scenario. So not taking much time, I know we are already past some timelines there. I'll just briefly tell about my background. Since childhood, I had seen this white uniform at home. My father was from the armed forces, specifically Indian Navy, and both my elder brothers are also in the Indian Navy. So I had seen this uniform in and out almost every day in my house. But the turning point of my life came in when the commanding officer of a Sea Cadet Corps unit visited our school, that is the Naval Public School in Cochin, for a motivational talk. Post that, I made it a point that I would remain connected with Indian Navy, and hence I joined the Sea Cadet Corps for the next 3 years. Later, when my father had retired and we moved back to our hometown, I actually felt that void of being away from the Indian Navy. So as soon as we came back to Mumbai for my college, which I did from KC College, Churchgate, I actually went around and found that, okay, there is a Jai Hind detachment, which is the One Maharashtra Naval Unit, and I enrolled to it. I remember that I used to stay at Vasai. Since you're all from Mumbai, you would understand the geography. So I stayed at Vasai, and my college was in Churchgate, and the NCC unit again was in Churchgate. So practically almost all the 7 days I would take that 5:57 a.m. local to Churchgate, either to attend my computer science practicals or to attend the NCC sessions. But since it was a choice that was driven by my passion, I never ever thought of sleeping till late on a Sunday by bunking the NCC sessions. That never came up to my mind. In the NCC days, I got multiple opportunities to participate in competitions within and outside the Navy as well. At state as well as national levels. I've done few national level camps too, and the most exciting thing that I got was a SSB training camp that I got through the NCC itself, which I thought was very helpful for me to crack my SSB later in just one go. I always took my decisions by introspection. All my ideas are led by my passion. Before I could ask the question of what should I do, I would answer why should I do it to myself. And then with that answer led by my passion, I could figure out numerous ways to tackle it, which I would never regret, because I would know that, okay, these decisions I have taken with my passion itself. Then came the chance when I joined the Indian Naval Academy at INS Mandavi, Goa. And we were literally 2 women trainee officers in an academy of 300 male cadets. This did pose some pressure on us, but with the pressure came the challenge and the responsibility too. It was all on us to make comfortable so that we get trained in the right manner. The infrastructure wise, there were some limitations earlier, but they were just fulfilled as soon as we had joined the academy. The later batches definitely benefited from our joining earlier. So because of all the learnings from SCC and NCC, I used to be participating in all the activities during my academy tenure. Be it the sailing, pulling, bends and hitches, your competitions in parades, swimming was one of my favorites. So because I was present in almost each and everything, and academically also I was just about there. So I was awarded the best under trainee cadet in the academy since I was an all-rounder. The only disadvantage I would say I had was the quick learning expectations and the steeper learning curve that we have. So what generally happened was the regular batches that came into observer stream were the naval officers who would have served on the ships for 2 to 3 years. They would have the general navigational orientation already. But since we were directly coming and we had no sea exposures, the expectations from us were pretty high. The syllabus was almost the same, the timelines were lesser, and the expectations just kept on growing. But I remember when I joined the squadron at Goa, that was my first squadron, where we were just raised up to 25 women officers in this squadron by the time I retired. So I think Navy has actually started inducting women as pilots, also posting them on board ships, and many more opportunities have opened up for them. So I have seen immense growth. We were the first ones there, but there are numerous now going higher than us. That's about giving equal opportunities to women to grow. And that is clearly depicted by the way Navy has progressed this particular graph. I think the fun part is always in having equal opportunities which are unbiased rather than having some kind of gender speciality. Whenever you're getting the opportunity to break a glass ceiling, don't get excited too much. Just don't forget that with this, there is some responsibility also coming along. So just be what you are at ground level and do your job. That's the only way to pave way for others and give back to the society. Quickly, I think I would like to just do a summation of what I have just spoken is that always take your decisions by introspection led by your passion. Do ask yourself the question of why before how and what. So this way you'll always be clear that okay, you want to do something, but why do you want to do something? This way you will never falter and never regret your decisions. The second advice I would like to give you is always keep a plan B and C, or what do you call it, a standby plan for everything in your life. Like for myself, when I had passed out of my college, I had given myself this 1 year's tenure. So I had seen a lot of my seniors of NCC and college too who were just keep on giving their SSBs and not clearing off, and they were actually not able to focus on anything else also in their life. So I had myself given 1 year's time that I will appear for SSBs for this 1 year tenure. And if I am not able to make it, I will go ahead and do an MBA from a good college. And for that, I had also started attending the time classes to appear for CAT at that time. So I think definitely you should have a standby plan, because if you fail in something, there's nothing that you have lost. You just learn something new, and then you get up and go ahead in your life with the other plans. So I think so make the best of it and execute your standby plans would be my suggestion. The next quality that you should always have is adaptability. I think having colleges, collaboration with different colleges, institutes really makes you adaptable. These days you have much more opportunities that ways. Back in those days it wasn't so much, but then yes, when everything is coming to your fingertips, you just have something a click away. I think the collaborations have become much more easier. So this adaptability that you learn is going to be really helpful to you in your armed forces, and this has also helped me in my transition after the armed forces to the corporate world. Another suggestion would be just be open to opportunities. Do not look back and march forward. I mean, just don't look at either me or anybody else who spoke today that, okay, because she did this, I will do this. No, that is not the right way. You must always explore the opportunities that you have and that will suit you the best. It is not that what has suited me best would be the same for you. So you need to find out what is the best available to you as per your passion, and do not discard all other opportunities which are there in the arena. So take an informed decision and do not do a sentimental or an emotional one at any point of the time. And yes, I think I've already mentioned that there's that with power and authority, you will always have some responsibility. So do remember to give it back to the society so that others who need your mentorship can reach out and get benefited to you. And whatever you have learned in your life does not die away with you. You need to give it to everybody around so that somebody or the else should get benefited. I think I will stop at that. If there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for your motivating session. Ma'am, you are the first, rest will follow. Ma'am, you have opened door for so many young girls into this field. Ma'am, you have really shown us a unique dimension of life. Thank you once again, ma'am.
Thank you.
Now I request the audience, if anyone have any question, please unmute yourself and ask.
Seema ma'am.
Yes, please.
Ma'am, good evening. Ma'am, my name is Sumana here. I teach in BK Birla Public School. Ma'am, when you were speaking, I couldn't stop myself because I belong to naval background. My father was in Indian Navy, and I also did my college from KC College. So I can understand the feeling when we see the white dress people, ma'am. I still cannot forget my life, what I completed in Indian Navy when I was start from my born and brought up in Indian Navy, full surroundings. So ma'am, really when I couldn't each and one line of yours I have heard, and I was so happy that someone from my background has connected to me. Thank you so much, ma'am.
You're most welcome.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Julie Ghosh from BK Birla School. My question is to Sheetal ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
Good
Ma'am,
evening.
my question to you is that in spite of having certain financial difficulties and certain challenges which were pulling you back from achieving your goal, you still went on to do and achieve whatever you have achieved, for which we are very proud. So, who was your mentor who guided you, and why do you have?
Every step of my life, I had many mentors. First, I will say Kamal sir was there, because of whom I got my dream of means. Everyone has idea that what they want to do in their life. Like someone says that they want to become an engineer or doctor or something like that. I was not having that goal. So because of Kamal sir, I got my that dream. But there was one more Indian naval officer, Rajesh sir. He was there, Lieutenant Commander Rajesh sir, and he gave me the path. Then after that, one of my American coach, Dan BC, he came in, which he trained me. So and then when I did my wingsuit flying after my kids, my one of my instructor was there, Yari Kosma from Finland. Then I will say one of my mentor is my husband, who taught me living life balancedly. And my moreover, I will say all the time when I was having every new mentor, my father was standing by me every time. And actually, somebody's speaker is making noise. My father was the biggest mentor, and I lost my father on 4th of August last year, 2020. And I will say he was the biggest mentor of my life, and who stood by me for anything, whatever I wanted to do, and he supported me. But every step of my life, I was having many mentors who supported me, who guided me, and still I'm in touch with everyone and doing lots of stuff. and anyone who wants to do anything in skydiving field or any other field, and if you need any advice or any help, please contact me. I will be happy to help you all.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Welcome. Welcome. Anyone has a questions?
Yes, anyone have to ask questions? Please ask. Please free yourself to ask the questions. I will feel that we have.
Yeah. We can go ahead because we are already running short of time.
Yes, sir. I request all the audience to fill the feedback form, which will be shared in the chat box and also in the WhatsApp group. Education is the passport to the future. Tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. Education is the most powerful weapon we can use to change the world. Now, the person who has consumed himself to change the society and light the darkness in the lives of many, he is the man of distinct vision and fountainhead of illuminating ideas and an ideal of knowledge, experience, and our constant source of inspiration. He is our guiding figure, Dr. Naresh Chandra, Director Education. May I now request Sir to deliver his concluding remark.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I agree, time is a constraint. So maybe I will talk for a few minutes and convey our feelings. We have listened to three eminent speakers who have really inspired one and all. The chief guest, Professor Mrs. Madhuri Saranji, and the other two distinguished colleagues. I have listened, Dr. Harish Dubey was asking, you are not seen. But I have listened to each one of them completely. And I'm telling you, all those young friends attending, listening to this program, and if it's recorded, then maybe they should listen to again. Every one of us in life, irrespective of the age, continue to have first a clear-cut goal and then passion to work for that. Whether it is landing at or at naval, north, south, world, everything I am trying to put together, or to be an excellent researcher. All three of the eminent guests have presented their life and how it has been possible for them. I was all the time listening whether to Miss Sheetal or Madam Saran Madam. It is not that whether financially we are strong or not. It is the will to do desire to do, whether it is strong or not, that matters. And I have personally seen, as told by Professor Madhuri Sharan ma'am, Professor Sharan and Professor Mrs. Sharan. I don't find, because in every family, I do not know whether it's the right platform, but I have always seen them working with great synergy. And because of that synergy, maybe the results have been very well rewarding. The relationship with father to daughter, mother to daughter, sister to sister, husband to wife, or mother to next generation daughter. Everything is full of love, full of passion, and I'm sure at most of the places, if I say India, we all live with a family culture, with respect, giving or taking, love, sharing, and net result is ultimately you live with joy and happiness. In the morning, Professor Banjari, the Vice Chancellor of SNDT University, was talking, and she was making a point. It is not he or she, it is a human in he or she or in both or everyone. That is the most important factor. It is the person, emotions, and the feelings. And on this note, I have also seen, because I should not go my mother, I was very close to my mother. And everything which I will not say to my father, I will tell her, and then indirectly I will get it passed to her. So everyone has this, or girls, they talk more freely with father or something like that. But this is what we are. I can tell once again to all my dear student friends or the young colleagues, take these words of wisdom from the three eminent experts. Think over it, and if possible, all my teacher colleagues to pass on to younger generation, to the students, for the cause of our country, for the cause of even sea, environment, for the world around, for the globe. North Pole, South Pole, all these things. I mean, it's so inspiring, and I'm sure we will invite all our esteemed speakers again and listen to them more for making career for the young, maybe through our placement cell, or maybe for career options. There is nothing like art, science and commerce or doctor, engineer or something like that is the only way. There are so much in the world, so diverse, and students must take advantage of some idea from. You may think differently, you may have your goal different, but persistence, perseverance, and consistency to pursue that is the key. And thank you so much. Through these eminent speakers. First, I would pay my respect and regards to all the three achievers. In three of you, we pay our respect and regard to each and every person on this earth with she on this occasion of International Women's Day. We're also talking that every day we have to always, and very rightly, the beginning said that anger, I also get at times anger. So I will try to, calmness is very necessary to have better understanding or to show or to pursue any cause in a better way. With these few words, I also would like to appreciate efforts of Ms. Aarti More and all other colleagues. I think Ms. Matthew or she was there, Mr. Astekar, for arranging the program in a beautiful way. Introduction with slides, new ideas, some claps coming in between, and appreciating the talks. All that was very, very encouraging, and I'm sure you will also rise by the time in your passion, and everything will take you to great heights. And Principal Dr. Avinash Patil, Principal Dr. Harish Dubey, all my senior colleagues who have made it possible, my best wishes and thank you very much. Dr. Harish Dubey also has a lot of energy. Some energy comes from Naval NCC, some energy comes from sports, and some energy comes from physics, and some energy comes from night college. So it's a increasing energy system, and I am sure we all appreciate his hard work, his sincerity, and we wish to see much better future for our night college, for the students of evening college. And my dear student friends, night college does not in no way is anywhere less. This is the best platform, the best opportunity, learning while earning. It gives you better learning, better experiential learning. So please make use of all the facilities available in the college, whether in classroom or in library or outside the classroom. All our best wishes, and once again our regards to respected Professor Madhuri Sharan Madam. And I remember with gratitude the great contribution done by both of them, Professor Sharan Sir and Madam, to Birla College, where almost 16 PhDs, because of it is college as well as the colleagues cannot forget lifetime that chemistry department was not having that type of research culture and environment at all. But by entry of both of them, they converted first nanotech research lab, maybe at whatever level in the college, but was established at B.K. Birla College by then. And we will always cherish that. It is their contribution that research culture in Birla College has increased to great extent. And 15, 16 PhDs were produced under their guidance at B.K. Birla College. So it's a great contribution. We wish we will continue all our relations with everyone. And Dr. Harish Dubey, we must invite all the three speakers.
Sure, sir.
Again, and we should have sessions with degree college students, FY, SY, TY, even PG students at every level, because these sessions are, I'm getting convinced that classroom lectures are I won't say less important because it will be misconstrued, but these sessions are very much essential, is the essential component of anybody's life learnings. And with that, we should try. Thank you. All my best wishes. Wish you all happy International Women's Day. And through women, all men. Because we all come from women. So we are part and parcel of she, madam. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Sir, you are our source of energy and motivation. Thank you once again, sir, for your inspiration words. Thank you, sir. Now, I call upon Mrs. Harsha Padwal, ma'am, Assistant Professor, Department of Zoology, to propose vote of thanks. Harsha, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for lending me this opportunity. Now, while thanking, I would like to say a day isn't enough to celebrate womanhood. A day isn't enough to congratulate the success of women. A day isn't enough to appreciate the struggle of a woman. Yet, we, the team of BK Birla Knight College, have made a small effort to celebrate, congratulate, and appreciate each and every woman for their never ending efforts towards the betterment of herself and society. I feel extremely honored and privileged to extend my sincere gratitude to our chief guests, Padma Shri Sheetal Mahajan ma'am, Dr. Madhuri Sharon ma'am, and Lieutenant Commander Seema Rani Sharma ma'am for sparing their valuable time despite their busy schedule. It is said, a strong woman knows that it is not in the destination, it is about the journey. And what an inspiring journey you all have had. Your words, your experiences, struggle, and never give up attitude has surely motivated each one of us to do better with each passing day. Thank you. I'm sure after listening to each one of you, the purpose of organizing this national webinar on dimensions of women's empowerment is served in real sense. We are extremely thankful to our management under the dynamic leadership of Sri O.R. Chitlange sir for providing us this digital platform of Microsoft Teams, because of which we could arrange this webinar. I extend my gratitude to our director, Dr. Naresh Chandra sir, for his blessings and support, and Dr. Avinash Patel sir for his guidance and help. I am extremely thankful to our principal, Dr. Harish Dubey sir, for always encouraging and believing in us. I'm thankful to my colleagues and administrative staff for their continuous efforts to make this national webinar successful. Last but not the least, I would like to thank all the participants, including students, our teachers, ladies, and gentlemen from various parts of the country, to be a part of this webinar. Thank you all for listening patiently and making this webinar a grand success. Once again, a very happy International Women's Day to all of us. Together we learn, together we grow. Now I shall request all of you to rise up for National Anthem.
Sheetal madam, anything? You are muted, madam.
So I think she has raised the hand for National Anthem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jai जनगण अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता। पंजाब सिंधु गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल गंगा, विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा। तब शुभ नामे जागे, तब शुभ आशीष मांगे, गाहे तब जय गाथा। जन गण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता। जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे।
हरीश दुबे, डॉक्टर हरीश दुबे।
सर थैंक यू सर।
नहीं ये शीतल महाजन है क्या?
Yes, yes, sir. She's there.
Professor Saran
Yes, madam, are you there?
and Dr. Commander Seema.
Yes, sir, I am here, sir.
So all three can come on with video. So Dr. Harish Dubey, you can have it.
Yes, sir.
One
Yes, sir.
picture.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Seema, you can put your video on. Madam.
Is it possible? If not possible, no issue.
Yes, sir. I have already taken with them.
Okay, then it is okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, all the best. Well done. Very well
Thank you very
done.
much, sir, for your blessings.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Jai Hind, sir. Thank you.
So, are we all closing?
Great. Jai Hind detachment.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dubey sir.
Thank you, sir. It's so nice program. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Jai Hind, sir.